Hey there, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Brew Shavers Sports Podcast, covering SEC football and all the sports in the Southeastern Conference. We're glad that you're here today. As we get started with this show, hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it so much if you would do that. Follow the show, get updated on all the episodes that come out. It is a week of various reactions.
Yes.
Darren, you seem trying really hard not to smile right now.
I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. I don't know what else to say.
Go ahead, smile. Whatever's on your mind, go ahead, and whatever you need to say, you best say it.
Because of our friendship, how's that? I will avoid just making it about LSU. A win over a top 10 team for Vanderbilt that creates a top 10 Vanderbilt. How can a Vanderbilt fan not smile beyond? I mean, like cheeks hurt, smile. Like seeing a comedy show and you laugh till your cheeks hurt. Like cheeks hurt, smile. How can a Vanderbilt fan not, regardless of who the opponent was? How can a Vanderbilt fan not smile at that?
It is a good time to be a Vanderbilt fan, Darren. Enjoy every second of this. We have more reactions on the LSU Vanderbilt game. Look for another episode that came out this week to get those full reactions. But we want to move on to some other reactions we had from this past weekend. Darren, a full slate of SEC games, incredible start to finish schedule for the SEC. If you can take your mind off of the Vanderbilt win against LSU, what was another reaction that you had to the weekend's games?
I'm going to have a very, very quick reaction A, reaction B. Reaction A, hate to see the Billy Napier era come to an end at Vanderbilt. I don't even know where that came from. Come to an end at Florida the way it did. Really thought that was going to work. Really, really like him as a coach and everything as a person. Hated to see that happen. Reaction B, moving on to another coach that might kind of be in the same spot before the end of the season, before the end of the week. Who knows? Mark Stoops, kick the field goal, put the points on the board. What were you doing? I know he said afterwards, wanted to let our defense win the game. Let your defense win the game by forcing them to kick a field goal and then having another shot, not by not putting points on the board. No way. Dude, what were you doing? That's my immediate reaction to this week. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, I want to start with the South Carolina-Oklahoma game. Nobody picked South Carolina or thinks that they're going to be in a position to win the SEC championship.
Mm-hmm.
But we did think they'd be more competitive than what they are right now. And this offense is just horrendous. 170 passing yards against Oklahoma, 54 rushing yards. Think about that. 170 pass, that's it for the game.
Yep.
Only 54 rushing yards. Lenora Sellers is a great talent. They've not surrounded him with any weapons.
No.
And
or an offensive scheme.
Yeah, it's a mess in South Carolina, and you're not going to win games just scoring points on special teams. You got to have a average offense.
Beamer ball is a complement, not the entire scheme. Right? Exactly.
Yep. However,
there's more.
I need to say something about the situation in Baton Rouge.
Oof.
Our friend, head coach Brian Kelly, is now 11-11 on the road as the head coach of LSU. Oof. I'm not very good at math, Darren, but I believe that's a 500 record.
I think you're right.
The only game this year that LSU has scored 25 or more points is against Southeastern Louisiana.
Oof.
When you look at the amount of money that was put into that receiving core, to give Nussmeier all the weapons he could possibly want and to witness an offense as just atrocious as this one, frankly. Yeah, there were some bright spots against Vanderbilt. Still, they did manage to get 100 yards rushing. Caden Durham had some nice runs. Harlem Berry is starting to develop.
Yeah.
But the only game you score 25 or more points is against Southeastern. Something is amiss in Baton Rouge. Is it offensive coordinator Jones Sloan's fault? Is it the offensive line's fault? We can. The bottom line is it starts and it stops with the head coach.
Absolutely.
And Brian Kelly has not done an effective job at LSU. On top of that, he insults the fan base. What was that, a week or two ago? By calling the fan base spoiled. Well, here's the news about that. This is not a mid-major university football program. We LSU fans did not look, and Scott Woodward did not hire Brian Kelly to win 9 or 10 games a year and be happy about it. This is a fan base that wants to win and compete for national championships.
Absolutely.
They haven't even made the playoffs yet. So when you look at Nick Saban, Les Miles, Ed Orgeron, and Brian Kelly, what do the first three have that the fourth one doesn't have?
National championship.
And the current one, they've probably spent more money on a roster than all the others did, at least that we can prove.
Right. Exactly. Now they've spent the money. Right. Exactly.
Now, yeah, can LSU win out? It's highly unlikely. They've got A&M coming to Baton Rouge. It's a sold-out game. It's a Saturday night game. Yeah, they might. The crowd might be able to carry them to stay in that game. But what I've seen so far, Darren, is that and I understand I don't understand the difficulty of being a head coach. I've never been a head coach of a major program, but the fan base is looking for some passion. They're looking for some improvement, and these little markers that Brian Kelly keeps mentioning. Well, we're improving here. We're improving here. No, you've got elite players on that team, even against Vanderbilt. You can't sit and say, well, they didn't have Whit Weeks or they lost one of their starting offensive linemen. No, your second string guys were guys that wouldn't even go to Vanderbilt to play. So think about that. And they still got beat. So I don't know what to do here, although it reminds me of my initial reaction when LSU first hired Brian Kelly. You remember that?
Let's see if we can go back in. What is it? Let's see what I think we may remember that.
AD Scott Woodward has decided to go after Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. It looks like a hiring is imminent.
And Ben, so I'll let you take the lead on this one. What are your thoughts?
My first reaction was, oh, when I heard the news. Please, God, tell me this is not true. I think I don't know if Brian Kelly is ready for the pressure of coaching at LSU. He's never coached in a league like the SEC, never been in a conference like this. Over the years, I've listened to him whine when Alabama trounces them. He had a pretty cupcake schedule at Notre Dame and still struggled to get into the playoffs. And when he did, he typically got pounded by an SEC school.
Let's see. So I think the one thing we can take off the table immediately is it's not that you're all of a sudden, now that things aren't going well, a fair weather fan. I think we can say with receipts, you kind of called it in your initial reaction.
Unfortunately,
right.
You look at what guys are. Look at what Elko's doing at A&M. I mean, at some point the excuses have to stop. Kelly has misfired on hires. The Matt House defensive coordinator hire was horrible. Blake Baker is better, but still the defense is not
Right.
where you expect it to be. They're still
Absolutely.
getting run on, scored on, unable to stop people.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to raise the questions about, the LSU offense with Joe Sloan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like something is not clicking there. And I think his time at some point, you could argue he's already lost a segment of the fan base. Now, Tiger Stadium will be full Saturday night. It will be
Absolutely.
rocking. It's a big game against A&M, who's ranked 3 now, or
Yes. I
right?
believe
3.
that's right. Yeah.
So, but after A&M, you got Alabama, and you still got Oklahoma on the schedule, and Alabama's just playing lights out. They may be playing as
Yeah.
good, if not better, than anyone else in the country right now.
Absolutely.
Oklahoma with Mateer, a running quarterback. Hello, that's what LSU has against Marcel Reed and A&M this Saturday night.
Yeah.
So there's a real possibility that LSU could finish with 5 losses this season.
Absolutely.
That's just not acceptable.
And that's the stuff that brings, especially, I mean, just about anywhere, but especially in Baton Rouge, that's the kind of stuff that brings a tenure to an end.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want 5 losses, go back and hire Jerry DiNardo.
Yeah. That's kind of cold blooded. They stole him from Vanderbilt. Well, whatever. We'll leave that alone. I'll take that this week.
I just need to understand how God works in mysterious ways, because right now, golly, hiring a Catholic from the north is just not transcending down into southern Louisiana, where there's a lot of good Catholics down there
That's
too.
right. That's right.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, if it's culture fit or what. I mean, Brian Kelly's he's a good coach if you want to win 8, 9, maybe 10 games a year, but
Mhm.
still chasing that national championship, and he's got all the weapons, and it's still not happening this year.
Well said.
Let's get into our power rankings for this year, and I can already tell you one team that's not in the top 5 power rankings.
You might be on to something.
Look at this comparison, Darren. It's like we were talking before the show. There's only one difference in our top 5.
Yeah, it's as you said when we were discussing it earlier. Great minds, right?
So A&M still your number 1 because undefeated.
Undefeated. When you're not only undefeated within the conference, but undefeated with your entire schedule, understanding the fact that I know that they, haven't played top 10 teams in their non-conference schedule, but still, both conference and non-conference, they've navigated their schedule in what is a much tougher league undefeated. So to me, that still puts them right there at
Yeah.
that number 1 spot.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at how good Alabama is looking right now. They are a complete team. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat Alabama. That's why I've got them at my number 1, A&M at number 2. We both have Georgia at number 3. How about that? Georgia is creeping back up there. Don't count Kirby Smart out.
Do not. And the thing about it is their only loss is Alabama. And that just every single week keeps looking better, keeps looking better, keeps looking better. So yeah, you're exactly right. He's in a position, they're in a position for him to still push them to climb. And obviously that's what's happening.
Yeah, and you look at Ole Miss. We both have Ole Miss at 4. What's happening in Oxford? They don't get all the players that an Alabama or a Georgia or even an A&M gets, but they're holding their own. Still a really good football team. I know they were in it in Athens against Georgia, just pull it out. And then your Vanderbilt Commodores are showing they belong among the elites in the SEC.
I struggled with placing them all of a sudden just at number 5. But when you look at Missouri was the other one that really would kind of get consideration from me. And right now at this point, you have a win over a number 1 team, which Missouri, or a number 10 team, which Missouri does not have. And I honestly have almost considered putting them ahead of Ole Miss, even though their only loss is Georgia. But when you look at the wins, when Ole Miss beat LSU, LSU was ranked number 5. So I'll give respect to that. And I left Ole Miss at number 4. They beat a top 5 LSU. I mean, we're seeing kind of where things are. But at the time when that game was played, they beat a top 5 LSU. So give respect to that. Put them in that 4th place spot.
And they have a game this Saturday with the aforementioned Missouri squad. So maybe a win there might bump them up a little bit in your power rankings.
Obviously, my hope is it is a Vanderbilt win. But the crazy thing is, whoever wins this game Saturday, it's a program defining win for either team, which is just a crazy sentence to say, but it really kind of is. If you're Vanderbilt and can pull off a win against a top 15 team 2 weeks in a row, 15 to a 10 and then a 15, or if you're Missouri and you can go on the road and beat a top 10 team, either one of those scenarios, that's a program defining win, and especially a season defining win.
Well said. Well, great analysis. That takes us to 4 down territory, where we reflect on this past weekend's games and make a prediction or two for the upcoming weekend. But we're going to start with our brown bag pick. Nobody wants the brown bag, but yet we must give it to somebody. Darren, who is your brown bag recipient for the week?
Mark Stoops, kick the field goal. Can't go away from it. Brown bag, kick the field goal. I'm just going to – that one blew my mind in a way that I can't even describe. Brown bag, Mark Stoops. How about you?
I'm going to go to the other side of the field in the same game and pick on the Texas Longhorns. Mark Stoops didn't kick that field goal. Texas survived a scare in Lexington. Did you ever think you'd hear those words?
No, not even remotely close to those words.
Again, it's not just one player on the Texas team, but something is just not gelling there. It's kind of like the situation in Baton Rouge. Something is off. And as Brian Kelly has not yet figured it out, Sarkisian is yet to figure it out in Austin. And teams that we thought – Texas was preseason number 1 overall.
Exactly.
Teams that we really thought would be in a position to contend for a national title are slowly fading away. The Oklahoma game was a nice – everyone thought, well, maybe they're getting it together now, but evidently it's not there yet.
Yeah, apparently so.
Let's move into our post-game quote of the week. Darren, boy, there were some good ones to pick from. What did you choose?
There were actually 2 or 3 that I really kind of played around with, but we don't give Kirby Smart his credit, the credit he sometimes deserves, of not only maybe a little zinger that might be in there, but also kind of a in-depth or thoughtful analysis that he gives it. So we got a little bit of both this week, so I decided to go the Kirby Smart route.
Another day in the SEC, and one-possession games have become the norm. I don't know that I've ever been a part of one like that. A lot of credit goes to Lane and his staff. They had their team really prepared to come into this game and start fast, which they did. A lot of credit goes to our offensive staff and the preparation they put in to not stop. I just told the guys that's a culture win, because you don't win that game if you're not physically tough, mentally tough. We call it hard to kill. I do want to thank Lane, though, for the end of the game. He gave me some hot yoga tickets that I can go to yoga, so I tell him I appreciate that.
Such thoughtful analysis, and ends it with, and that was literally the beginning and the end of the press conference. Thoughtful analysis, and then a zinger right there at the end. That was well done. I got to give him props. It was well done.
It is entertaining to see the little back and forth between Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin. The guys are friends, and that makes it even funnier, these little zingers that both of them kind of work into press conferences. So I'm sure we're going to hear more before the season's over.
Should we applaud for Kirby? Sorry, I couldn't let it go. Had to do it one more time.
Well done. Well done. Let's look ahead to this week. We're into week 9 already.
Wow.
As we look at the games coming up in the SEC, Darren, what is your absolute sure thing pick? What game should people bet on and say Darren Shavers assured me that this would be a big payout?
Well, that makes it scary. Absolutely none. Just because I say something, let me say that for starters. But you said it. You said it yourself. This Alabama team, man, they have put it together. They look more impressive week in and week out. I'm going with Alabama as my sure thing pick. How about you?
I'm going to go with the Hogs at home. Arkansas gave A&M a run for its
Nice.
money last weekend. Petrino really wants that job. The offense is putting points on the board. They just have to figure out how to stop the other team from scoring points.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of a thing.
I like Arkansas against Auburn. If Auburn comes in there by some miracle and beats Arkansas, bye Petrino. It dead in the water. His candidacy.
Definitely.
It'd be worse than Richard Nixon. So, but yeah, I've got Arkansas winning big. How about your upset pick for the week?
Well, we just talked about Lane Kiffin and what he has done this year and how they looked against Georgia. And if this is not, I know it's not back-to-back weeks, but it's very, very close that I've turned on our friends in Norman, and I apologize. And I know this is in Norman, and that's why Oklahoma is favored. But I think there's a difference in this Ole Miss team compared to years past, and I think we're going to see it this week. I think this is a game this Ole Miss team can win, and I think they do. I think Ole Miss pulls off the upset. How about you?
I like the Mississippi State Bulldogs finally breaking that SEC losing streak, collecting a win at home. They were so close last week against Florida. A late interception doomed them, but it also doomed Billy Napier. Who would have thought that? It's bad for your coaching future if you're on the hot seat and you beat Mississippi State.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I like. Of course, I'm a Jeff Lebby fan. I like what he's doing in Starkville, and I've got Mississippi State pulling off the upset.
Great pick.
That takes us to our game of the week. We're going to the Palace on the Prairie, Norman, Oklahoma, for an 11 o'clock game. Oh, it's a good game. Why so early?
Exactly.
Biscuits and gravy will barely be digested by kickoff.
Exactly. That's exactly right. But, I mean, biscuits and gravy in SEC football, that's not an awful thing. I mean, I know it's an early kickoff, but that's not an awful thing. So,
no. Oh, that sounds really good, too.
Yeah, it really kind of does, actually. Might be a biscuits and gravy kind of night. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting to look at this game.
Yeah, why so?
Well, you've got 6-1 versus 6-1, and the stat that's on our breakdown here, right in the middle, is the contrast of what Lane Kiffin is able to do with the Ole Miss offense, and then what this Oklahoma defense looks like. I mean, to be averaging at this point, we're halfway through the season, and you're allowing less than 10 points a game is very, very impressive. And then when you take that contrast of an Ole Miss offense comes into town that's averaging almost 38 points a game, and they're both right there with each other on the turnover margin. Both of them are negative turnover margin. So that battle of which side of the ball is going to stand out more. Is it the Oklahoma defense, the Ole Miss offense? And then knowing that they both at -2 have the propensity to turn over the ball from time to time. That's a really interesting dynamic there. I think this makes this game even a little bit more intriguing.
The matchup between Kiffin, offensive-minded coach, and Venables, defensive-minded coach, is absolutely intriguing, Darren.
Very much so.
Oklahoma's giving up less than 10 points a game. I would be shocked if they hold Ole Miss to under 10 points.
Yeah, absolutely.
This game could very well turn into a shootout.
Yep.
a lot of fun for everybody. But man, I hate a game of this magnitude being so early.
Yeah, 11 o'clock kickoff. Yeah, very true.
I'll still watch it though.
Oh, I'm going to be there, probably with biscuits and gravy, but I'm going to be there.
You just call me when the biscuits are ready.
Exactly.
Thank you for watching this episode. We have more episodes coming out this week. We have a reaction episode specifically about the LSU Vanderbilt game. We also have our weekly picks in which we go through every SEC game and make picks. Look for those episodes. If you're not sure where to find them, hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified every time an episode comes out. You can just click on the link and it'll take you right there. So enjoy football this weekend. And until next time, y'all take care.
Have a great week.